Okay, y'all. So this is my Husqvarna 55 Rancher. Now, I've had a lot of different things pass through the channel here and there, and this one doesn't get nearly enough time on screen, in my opinion. But, I mean, it's just one of those things. I'm having fun playing with whatever saw that I'm playing with. Plus, there's a mixture of trying to pick the saws that y'all want to see and the saws that I want to promote. For example, saws that y'all want to see clearly are the Echo 590. You guys have that really gets a lot of attention on my channel. Saws that I want to promote are those Poland high tops. Because the deal is the world needs to wake up and see those as good chainsaws. I'm sick and tired of people seeing the Polands as junk. But anyways, this video is about the 55. And it deserves a shitload of respect. It's extremely difficult to beat a Husky 55. They're just absolutely fantastic chainsaws. In my opinion, it is right there as one of the very, very, very best chainsaws ever made. It's just absurd how good they are as a general purpose saw. You can slap a 20-inch bar on here and run it no problem. You can find every single part for this thing, no problem. They respond to modifications very well, no problem. I mean, you can consider them a small saw. You know, it's a 50cc class saw, and it's small, lightweight, easy to throw around. At the same time, if you need a little bit of torque, you can throw a 24-inch bar on this thing and baby it through a cut and take care of that big tree. They're just phenomenal saws. I think that this would be the 50cc version of a Timberwolf 590. This is just fantastic. So that's enough about that. What this video is going to be is I ported this chainsaw. This was the very first chainsaw that I tried to do a legit port job on. And I did okay. But I remember, I wrote everything down, my numbers, and my numbers look good. But what I didn't get was the transfers. I totally did not hit the transfers at all. And I don't even think I even measured them out, so I don't know what the blowdown is or anything. So at this point, what I'm going to do is real quick, I'm going to go ahead and revisit this saw. I'm going to see if I can get some more power out of it. I'm probably going to add some more compression because I've got a different piston option. I've got the 028 Super Wood Boss piston that I might try and put in this. Maybe I won't. I don't know. Yeah, we're going to try to do a better port job on this real quick. And so I have another one of these that's completely stock. I'll be able to do test cuts between this, which is, it has a highway quad port cylinder on it. You can get a highway cylinder for this. It's a really nice setup. It's a closed port. I think it's a quad closed port, but it might be a dual port. But it's definitely closed, and the regular cylinders for these things were open port. So basically, yeah, revisit. Here we go. It's loud as can be because I got a nice pipe on it. But we're going to fire it up and do a test cut. So I think that's good enough for test purposes. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to port this up and see what we get. Well, it doesn't always go the way that you want it to. You know how these things have this bulkhead? The worst part about a 55 is all the plastic intake pieces. And those two little holes that now have JB Weld in them. Yeah. I remember from the last time I put this thing together, they're really, really easy to take apart, put back together. They're great to work on. As you can see here, I don't have the top handle off. You know, you can get to everything while the handle is still on there. It's really great, really easy to work on. The clutch is wonderful because it's one of those, where is it at? It's probably, there it is. It has a 15 millimeter nut built into it. So everything about it is really easy to work on. You don't have to have a special tool to get the clutch off. It's just a fantastic saw. But everything has its downfalls. And that thing's downfall is all the plastic bits and pieces that make up the intake. And I believe that piece right there that I had to JB Weld, I believe it's called a bulkhead. I cleaned it up really well, cleaned down in those threads with some brake clean before I JB welded them shut. And then tomorrow, probably tomorrow or Monday, I'll go back in and I'll drill that out, and it'll hopefully last and be better. I should probably order me another bulkhead right away. But as far as the porting goes, all right. So let's, since this videos went kind of a different way than I had planned, so let's talk about the porting. There it is. So I was thinking of going all out right away and putting in this domed, it's the domed pop-up. It's not just regular pop-up. These are, I think, in my opinion, way better. For one, you got a lot more material there. Two, it's smooth, it's rounded, it's not squared off. So I was going to go ahead and throw that in there right away, but I was like, I don't know. The skirt on it is not as long, and so that with it, it gave me 85 degrees on my intake opening, which I think is way too high. However, since I've got the piston, I might as well try it, right? So I was going to throw it in there and do that and see what it does. But ultimately, I was like, no, let's put this back together because it's really easy to take apart and everything. All I did was hit the transfers because I remember that my numbers were pretty good from whenever I ported it. Let's see. Here they are. So my intake was at 75 degrees, which is pretty good. The exhaust was at 103.3, which is pretty good. And my transfers were 132, which is shite. And the reason they are that way is because whenever I ported this, I did not have the ability to hit my transfers. So what I decided to do, this was with the 028 piston. This is how my numbers changed. We went from 175 all the way up to 85, or 84.5 on the intake opening, which is a lot. The exhaust stayed the same. And so that meant the transfer stayed the same, and I went ahead and put that there because I immediately knew that I would be aiming for 123. So so what I did inside this saw now, all it is this. It's still got the highway pop-up piston in it, and so these numbers are the same. But I did hit the transfers, so the transfers will be 123. And so I figured I was going to make this a video about the difference between being able to hit the transfers versus not being able to hit the transfers. However, I can't do that because I'm waiting on the bulkhead JB weld to dry, and I figure I might as well go ahead and push out this video anyway. So what I'll do is I'll compare my shitty port job with the transfers not done to this stocker. I'm going to go ahead and put the bar and chain, that Sugihara bar and chain, on here. This is completely stock. Isn't she minty? Minty fresh right there. Husqvarna 55 Rancher. And we'll see the difference between completely stock to not the best port job and with a pipe muffler. So without further ado, let's see them saws compete. Okay, so here we are with the bone stocker. Not even a muffler mod. Let's see how it does. Honestly, it feels just as fast as the loud one. I don't know though, but it does feel extremely similar to the half-ass port job with the pipe on it. So anyways, only time will tell. I gotta wait and get in there and see if I made a difference with lifting those transfers, see if it's faster than this. I've got to edit this video, see how they compared. But yeah, there'll be more on this. I'll go ahead and release this video to y'all today, and then tomorrow we'll get back on it and make another video with the other one that now has the raised transfer ports and see how much of a difference it made. And then from there, probably go ahead and put that steel 028 piston in it. Do some other modifications. You know, play with it. All right, later. Okay, so that's awesome. I mean, it really is. It's really awesome. So I've had that saw built for over a year, maybe 2 years at this point. I don't know. It's been a while. What is done to it in the configuration that you just saw is a highway closed port piston and cylinder. It turns out it is a dual port setup, but at the bottom it has a divider, making it look like it's a quad port whenever you look at it from the bottom. But whenever you actually look inside there, it's just a dual port. So, and it also has a highway pop-up piston. So the added compression, it was ported, and those are decent numbers. 103 something on the exhaust. I can't remember off the top of my head. 74.5 or something like that on the intake. 74.9 I think is what it was. So that would be 75, which gives you 150 duration on the intake. And so it's decent numbers. It should have performed. It should have really performed. But and it's got the pipe on it. It's got a pipe on it, and I know that those pipes add power. Maybe not much, but they do. They work, especially over a completely stock exhaust. It's still got the screen in it and everything. So the takeaway from this is, oh my God, it's important to hit the transfers. It is so important to hit the transfers. If you're not hitting the transfers, you ain't doing dick. And then again, it could be, you know, the that highway cylinder may have had some crappy numbers. The cylinder, a stock cylinder, maybe better. But the cool thing is now we can go forward and we can look for what will be, right? Whenever we actually do this, and I have hit the transfers. They're there. They're probably at about 122 degrees. Maybe 121. Because I had different thoughts with the intake and the 028 steel 028 super piston. That's a lot of intake duration, and I thought, well, let's go really low on the transfers. That way I'm relieving that pressure and maybe it'll reduce spit back, and I can run that steel piston. But anyways, that's a lot of information to digest probably for some of you guys. Some of you guys are probably like, no, you know what? But anyways, this is cool. This is the test and tune type of stuff that we do to figure out what works best. And I can't wait to do a side-by-side comparison of before I touched the transfers, after I touched the transfers. Because at this point, that is the only difference in that saw. I didn't change out the piston, nothing. So we will see a direct comparison of how much of a difference it makes to hit the transfers. Because I mean, I know that there's a lot of people out there. I was one of them that was like, I think I can make a difference without hitting the transfers. I have a pop-up piston and closed port cylinder setup on that saw that's ported pretty good, and it got beat by the stocker, and it's got the pipe on it, You've got to hit those transfers. Anyways, I look forward to tomorrow's video, and we'll see how much of a difference it made. And maybe it just turns out that's just shit. I don't know. We'll find out.